Alright, hello everyone. Ryan, aka For the Blood God here, doing another ability draft replay commentary. We're gonna hit the abilities real quick. Witch Doctor has a really well balanced build here. He can attack our almost all strength hero team and make us a little bit less tanky with this. Less damage, as well as the chance to have negative debuffs fall off if he takes a certain amount of damage, which is, with his health, a little bit harder right now, but might pay off later. Anchor Smash is really good, lowers attack, and Death Ward does a lot of damage. Here we've got a decent carry build, I'd say. We've got Drunken Brawler, Battle Hunger, Howl, which gives you and heroes under your control more units under your control more damage, which should affect the Phantasms. So that's really nice if he can get on top of somebody. Mirana, we've got Unstable Current, which is a nice ability. It hurts people that target you with an ability, as well as giving you move speed, which is really nice. Tombstone is great for getting First Bloods and things like that. As you can see, they're trying for one right now on Oracle, which I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you. They do under tower right up here. The Oracle Stun as well as Shapeshift, both really good abilities. I'm going to switch to me real quick because I happen to know, he did get First Blood, but it's going to cost him. I started with Boots. Not usually the best option, but because I had permanent invis, I felt comfortable doing it, and as you can see, it paid off wonderfully. Here we got a stun, a slow, farming ability, as well as AoE, and then Eye of the Storm, which is okay. It's better if you're doing like a one-on-one, or if there's no creeps around. It can also be used for pushing. It's decent against buildings. I think you might have to get the Ags to hurt buildings, though. Not 100% sure on that. Axe, we've got Overpower, Maledict, Berserker's Call, Blink Strike. So theoretically, you drop the Maledict, you blink in, you call him, and then you overpower him. Not a bad idea. Could play out very well for him. For me, this has been updated to Cloak and Dagger. It used to be permanent invis, which gave you a lot of health regeneration instead of the agility multiplier. The backstab was added to the permanent invis so that he could get a new ulti called Tricks of the Trade, which is really cool. I like it, but it does require a little bit of setup. Feral Impulse is going to help make up for my damage a little bit, give me a little bit of extra damage and attack speed on a hero that normally does not have great attack speed. The Smoke Screen silences people, gives a miss and move rate debuff, which is all beautiful. It's really helping. It's going to help me gank. It's going to help me support other people in ganks. As you can see, I walked up and broke the clarity for free with the invis. I've also got Flesh Golem, which is damage amp and heals you and gives a negative debuff to the opponents. A lot of really cool stuff balled into one. Flesh Golem is really underestimated. I see a lot of people underestimate its ability, and it really can go a long way, especially on a tanky hero. Brewmaster, we got Overpower, a way to close the gap, Static Link, and Primal Split. Primal Split, it's not a first round, I wouldn't say it's a first pick ability, but I would say it's a first round pick ability just because of the survivability it gives you. The fact that he got Primal Split and Fury Swipes is kind of incredible. It should work out very well for him. Ursa, we got a crit. Starstorm, I'm not 100% sure why this is missing. I couldn't tell you what it is. Maybe we'll be able to figure it out later watching him. Culling Blade is good for getting people with low health, and it also gives a bunch of people move speed. Pretty nice. Here on a strength hero, we got Counter Helix, which is good. Cask, which is fun. Thunderclap, which is a move slow, attack slow, does some damage. It's a nice one. 80% damage reduction. He doesn't have Fury Swipes to take full advantage of it, but he's still nothing to scoff at. Oracle, we have Arrow, which, as you can see, he just arrowed the crap out of a zombie. Leap, Purifying Flames, and Ravage. He's got a really cool build, but it requires positioning and being careful with Purifying Flames, because you don't want to heal the enemy. So you either want to use that on on friends that aren't at risk, or you want to use it on enemies that you know will die from the initial
Dire's
damage.
bottom tower is under attack.
As you can see, I got a little, I got a little bit up in Lycan's grill. Knocked him down to below 200, which is going to force him to run back, but because I've got the permanent invis regeneration, I get to just hang out in lane. And that's one thing. Now with the change to permanent invis, it's gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna pick permanent invis quite as often now, to be completely honest, because one of the main reasons I always took it before was because of how useful the health regeneration was on top of the hit and run tactics. I mean, just right there alone, you can see that with a level 3 permanent invis, I can harass them out of lane, take as much damage as I want. As long as I don't die, I can step back and heal it all back again. As you can see, I'm almost back to full now, heading to try to help gank mid. I saw Brewmaster die. I wasn't able to make it in time to help him, but I figured I'd come get some solo experience while I was waiting for him to respawn. It helps make up for the fact that I wasted time walking here, and it also allows the Oracle to get a little bit of solo XP so that we can both get ahead. Now you can see, now that Delicious has respawned and is heading back to lane, I have moved myself back up to help here. And one cool thing is, hopefully, if these guys have any map awareness whatsoever, they will have seen me mid when I was attacking creeps, and hopefully they don't know that I'm back yet. Now, we're not really set up. As you can see, I popped the Flesh Golem so that I would have damage amp as soon as I started attacking. I popped the Silence so that he couldn't do anything to save himself, and Oracle luckily saw what I was up to and landed a perfect arrow. If I recall, we were not talking when we did that. That just happened to be amazing teamwork, just because he was paying attention to what was going on. As you can see there, instead of running from the tombstone, I manhandled it with the Flesh Golem, and went ahead and got myself some bonus gold, guys. If there are enemies around and they drop a tombstone, if you know you can kill the tombstone quickly, always go for the tombstone first. If you have no intentions of killing the tombstone, you had better be running. Because one thing that you never want to do is fight under a tombstone and let it sit out its duration, because that's how you get team wiped really quickly. I've played a lot of Undying and I've seen it happen. I don't know why people do it. But the thing with tombstone, you either want to run or you want to deal with it quickly. And since I knew that there were no heroes there to mess with me, I knew that I had time to get it. Now, the Reality Rift was really good there. He's stealing tons of damage. I unfortunately wasn't able to body block him as much as I meant to. We got him to walk into the smoke screen, which was kind of cool, but it still wasn't enough. What we really needed there was a hard stun, and neither of us actually have that. I know he can he can do like a mini stun with one of the primal splits, but I'm not sure how good he is at actually microing. I know I'm terrible at it. You will never see me play a micro hero, just because I am utterly awful at it. I will be completely honest with you guys. Alright, let's check out the last hits, see what we got so far. Razor, actually their team by far is doing beautifully right now. Razor is doing amazing at farming mid. Axe is doing decent in bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, alright, well, Axe is doing pretty good. Not a whole lot of denies anywhere. Oracle's been doing okay at it. Surprising, Delicious is doing pretty good at farming mid lane as well. I'm not doing terrible at safe lane. I've missed a lot of last hits because I've been harassing and we've been picking fights with the other heroes, which, as I'll show you in a second, has paid off pretty well for us. As you can see, mid came in for a gank and we were already ready for him. We already knew where he was. Now we drop the Ravage and get a free kill on Piranha under his supervision, which is kind of cool. Their mid shows up just in time to help us. Or our mid, I should say. I meant to say. We do lose Oracle, but I'm pretty sure he does take out the Lycan, and he's forced to flee the other direction. just because he's going to take tower hits and creep hits if he came back through here. But, oh, there we go. Wasn't able to pull it off. That was a really risky maneuver. If I were him, I probably would have just run back towards the rune, gotten back to mid, healed up with your tranquils or your urn, and just waited. He's got a really great build, guys, but he doesn't have any burst damage. He has to get a hit or two with Fury Swipes to make it matter, and Razor was ahead of him on health. So it was a risky play. I probably wouldn't have made it, but I do know he makes a lot of risky plays that do work out for him, so I'm not sure. I can't speak for what was going on in his head, honestly. This was a poor play by my part. I wasn't paying enough attention to his build, and I'm going to be honest, I totally forgot that he had Death Ward. It's very rare that
Radiant's middle tower is under
characters
attack.
actually have their own abilities in ability draft, so I wasn't ready for it, but I was able to survive, which is good. As you can see, they dropped tons of sentry wards in my lane. They're waiting for me to come back. I don't quite remember. Let's see what I do here. I know I didn't check him to see if he had sentry, so that might result in a death for me. Let's check the deaths real quick.
Dire's top tower is under
So
attack.
I'm in the lead with 4 and 0,
Dire's
which
structures are fortified.
my permanent invis and the fact that I've got the most kills, I promise, is the only reason that they bought sentry wards. Because that's one thing I've noticed. Well, actually, I do take that back. I remember at the beginning of the game that he actually bought wards. This Witch Doctor is actually playing ability draft how I do it when I don't get first pick. I mean, he did get first pick.
Radiant's
took his
bottom
death ward.
tower has fallen.
I usually build a carry if I get first pick. I usually build a support if I get a later pick. But he did make a support build here, and he did
Radiant's
stick to it
middle
and buy
tower is
wards and
under
courier
attack.
and stuff to help his team. So really, you got to commend this this Witch Doctor. He's playing nicely, and that's one thing that I'm gonna go ahead and mention here right now, guys. Another
Radiant's
thing to
middle
remember:
tower is under
you can
attack.
have the most broken build in ability draft, but if you have it on the wrong hero, it doesn't matter. If you have an
Radiant's middle tower
amazing
is
skill
under
set that
attack.
requires some heavy mana usage, and you have a hero with absolutely no intelligence, you're not going to make any progress with that. As you can see, I found out right there that they had sentry wards because they started attacking me even before. I mean, I had dropped the smoke screen, they knew I was there, but I hadn't started attacking until after I had already gotten hit. So now I know to be careful up there because I know that there's stuff up there. That fight worked out really poorly for us because they are almost all there. Plus, they had a bunch of AoE abilities that worked out really well for me. As you can see, the abilities in this screen aren't working, but so far, Razor, off of the back of that, came out really far ahead. He went from 3-1 to 6-1,
Dire's top tower
and
is
with
under
no
attack.
repercussions, which is something that you can't fuck with. I did come back up to top. I know where at least one sentry ward is now, but at the same time, Delicious is stuck up here, and he's definitely going to need some help. I popped the damage amp. He popped his ulti. A rock right there would have sealed the kill. I think it's the green one.
Lucky shot.
I hang a
I think it's the green one that gives you the rock. I don't play Brewmaster. I usually don't end up taking Primal Split either, just because I know I don't get the full use out of it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
I
attack.
kind of wish I had stayed there as soon as the arrow hit, but obviously I couldn't know that
Dire's
she was
middle
going to land that.
tower is under
Now,
attack.
now that got way too risky, and I'm going to
My
die
body
for nothing.
cast
That
upon
was
the
a poor decision on
tides.
my part. I should not have gone back in. The arrow was nice, and it stopped him from chasing me. I shouldn't have gone back in under
Radiant's
tower
bottom tower
with not
is
knowing
under
where the rest
attack.
of their team was. As you can see, this has just become a complete
Radiant's middle
and
tower
utter
is
just
under attack.
shit fest for top lane. I don't know why everybody got obsessed with it. As you can see here, knowing that everybody is fighting over top lane and that not a whole lot of people are farming, with the exception of this axe that we haven't seen in forever. Now let's check him actually. He's got a ton of gauntlets of strength. He's got a decent amount of money in the bank. He's got power treads. This farming is paying off pretty well for him,
Radiant's middle
depending
tower
on
is under
where
attack.
he goes in his items, if he gets a decent item. build. So instead of continuing the giant fight for top that I know has sentry wards waiting for me, I went ahead and went mid so that I could get some farm going. I started off with really good farm, I got a bunch of kills, and then I made 2 poor decisions in a row. And to learn from that mistake, rather than go back to top, I'm going to go get some farming.
Radiant's middle tower
This
is under
experience
attack.
up top is being split like 3 ways for both teams. So all 6 of these people that are hanging out up top are leveling incredibly
Radiant's middle
slowly.
tower has fallen.
Obviously, the Ursa made a smart move here and went off to go jungle a little bit so that he could soften that blow a little bit. But to be frank, to be completely honest, guys,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
we should have tried to win a team fight up here. If we win it, awesome. But regardless, we should still have at least 1 person bottom right now. They're 5-manning top. Honestly, I don't know if it's the best decision, to be fair. But what I would probably do in this situation is I would leave some heroes capable of harassing top and try to keep them off the tower as much as possible, and I would go in hard. Because right now, this whole bottom lane, these are just creeps fighting and dying, not giving anybody money, not giving anybody experience. They're
Dyer's
just
top
hanging out.
tower has fallen.
Somebody could probably somebody could have gotten this tower by now with how oblivious everybody is with the top lane. I did come back up here to try to help. We're about to get another kill, maybe. The arrow he was able to see, and I don't want to go under towers, so we're going to have to back off here. Didn't work out the best in ours. Axe somehow got himself killed middle. He bought a drum. I don't know that that's what I would be building with this item build. If I had this build,
Radiant
I would probably be
structures
going
are
for
fortified.
damage items, because you've got armor
Radiant's
here,
top tower is
you've got
under attack.
tankiness just from being axe. Why not take advantage of the blink strike and your attack speed with some damage items? But he's going for the drum. Let's see how it works for him. As you can see, I'm back to farming. Instead of farming our jungle, where tons of fighting is happening and where some of our heroes have been trying to farm, I'm going to go ahead and use my permanent invis to sneak into their jungle and farm there. That's one thing that's important. Now, I probably should have gone further and worked on this bottom lane, but I do know that I'm capable of farming jungle camps without losing too much health, and I'm not sure how many of our other heroes are capable of that at this point. Again, there's tons of people visible up here. Delicious is playing dangerously as usual. Battle Hunger went ahead and took that out. I'm still farming, as you can see. I should probably be here helping for this one, to be completely honest. Oh, I teleported in. Here we go. Now it ended up working against me. The teleport in, I probably should have just come out of their jungle instead of teleporting back to mid. But at the same time, there was kind of 2 fights happening mid, one off to the side, one at the tower. And I was kind of trying to see where I was needed most. We're able to pick off the Witch Doctor. I'm not sure who got Ursa. I think let's actually check. Razor got Ursa after killing the Broodmaster. Now, as we saw, there was nothing any of us could do to save Brewmaster, but at the same time, we probably could have played that fight a little bit better than we did. Now we've got somebody bottom. It's Marana. She's finally taking advantage of all this farm here. Wasted a tombstone. I don't know if I would have done that, given that it's on like a 60-second cooldown, and that there have been lots of team fights in rapid succession. However, she is getting farmed, which is something that she desperately needs, given that she's only got boots and a robe of the Magi. I come in mid to help with this fight. Razor Lycan manages to get a stun off, and then gets killed for, well, might get away. He's trying to help kill the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight manages to make it away. As you guys can see, that is the reason that you get a wand, guys. That right there is the reason that you get a wand. He should have absolutely died to the axe there. Blink striking after them. And I also want to note that this was when Blink Strikes was still charges, which is why you saw him do it multiple times in a row there. But that wand saved the Chaos Knight's life and netted us a triple kill with no cost, which is absolutely what we were looking for right there. It took what was kind of looking like an even game and gave us that edge that we really needed to start pushing towers again.
Is under attack.
Because they've been sticking together and they've been trying not to let people get picked off, which is good. They've been playing a lot better after the first couple minutes when we were just smearing them. So that's, I mean, it's good to see people learning and getting better as they're playing. That's what I try to do. He was chasing somebody bot, didn't quite catch him. I thought he was going to be able to chase him down. As soon as I saw that he didn't get him, I came down to look to see if maybe I could catch him walking back. Looks like he teleported out, which is the safe option, and it saved his life. Let's check in with everybody. As you can see, so I've got damage and armor, lifesteal. I'm taking advantage of my attack speed. I'm taking advantage of my tankiness. I've got extra tankiness from these two items. Now you can see I'm saving up for a heart, which is what's really gonna not only give me 40 strength, which is a ton of damage for me, being a strength hero, it's also going to make me really hard to kill. And coupled with my permanent invis, which had HP regen at the time, makes it that I can step out of a fight and heal the full in no time at all, which is really, really good. Let's check in with everybody else. Brewmaster looks like he's going for a Battle Fury, based on the Perseverance and the Quelling Blade. Not quite sure what he's doing with the Gloves of Haste. Maybe just bought it to take advantage of Fury Swipes early game because he needed some attack speed and didn't want to invest in a full item. Not 100% sure. Ursa went Mask of Madness. Not terrible. It gives him extra attacks to try to take advantage of his crit.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I wish I could remember what this ability was, because that might help explain more so the Mask of Madness, because he could have also gotten like a Maelstrom or something. I guess this does give him good attack speed and move speed. Yeah. Mask of Madness is probably a decent choice. It looks like he's probably going to go for a Bastion next on top of that with the phase boost. He's got really good chase at that point.
Radiant's middle
He's been doing pretty decently. I'm going to go ahead and say it's working for him. Chaos Knight is going nice and tanky. He's trying to take full advantage of the counter helix. The armlet's going to help him do some extra damage and get some strength and attack speed. The Vanguard helps him soak some stuff up. He's got Tranquils for in-between fights. I'm going to grasp Broadsword as maybe a Blade Mail so that he can even take more advantage of it. Oh, looks like we got a fight going on mid.
Radiant's bottom tower
Axe was able to blink
attack.
strike out. Delicious pulls off a Primal Split at an opportune time. Death Ward rips apart the Ursa, who probably had Mask of Madness activated and took a ton more damage than he needed to. That's my one problem with the Mask of Madness, guys, is just that you take a bunch of extra damage, and while it does give you attack speed and lifesteal, I feel it's safer to go other routes for those two things. And maybe I'm wrong on that. If Mask of Madness works for you, by all means use it, but it can be a risky buy. Delicious actually pulled off decent armlet toggling for a minute there. He almost pulled that off, which is pretty nice. The Oracle died as well, which sucks. As you can see, I'm now trying to put... Since I saw that everybody was fighting middle and I was down here at the bottom camp farming, I wasn't sure that I was going to make it up in time to make a significant difference, so instead I went ahead and pushed bottom lane and tried to take advantage of the fact that they were all gone. I have the Reaver now, which is giving me a nice chunk of damage. I did get dusted, but at this point, honestly, if he keeps chasing me, it's not going to work out that great for him. As you can see, they all have swarmed bottom now. I've created a ton of space, and now the dust has worn off, so I get to walk away no problems. I'm going to go ahead and assume that he's the only one with detection. He's got one dust left.
Dire's top
There
tower
are a
is under
couple.
attack.
There's a couple wards on their team.
Dire's structures are
They're all
fortified.
really close together in the middle. I probably would have spaced them out a little bit more, giving you a better idea of what direction people are coming from, and watch your side lanes a little bit. But there was a lot of fighting happening in middle not too long ago, so on that front it kind of makes sense. As you can see, with my permanent invis, I'm just kind of sticking around and harassing the crap out of them. I knew Witch Doctor's Dust was going to be coming off cooldown soon. It looks like it might have just come off cooldown, or maybe he just wasn't close enough. So I was able to go a little bit further. As you can see, as soon as they backed off, I'm immediately harassing the crap out of their creeps again. I can see Witch Doctor middle on the minimap, so I know that there's not a dust coming unless one of them has decided to man up and buy dust. But to be honest, guys, one thing that I feel I do well is reading the enemy team. And when I notice that they are letting me get away with permanent invis the entire game, usually they don't change that behavior. Now, every once in a while, someone will miraculously... I mean, we saw the Witch Doctor do the detection top. I knew he was on point, but nobody else was helping him deal with the invisible problems that he was
Radiant's
dealing
top
with.
tower
And
is
he
under
was,
attack.
as you can see, he wasn't able to handle the job by himself. So, I probably would have had a couple more sentry wards get bought, maybe by other teammates to help
Radiant's
sort
top
it
tower
out,
is under
given
attack.
that I was the biggest threat on my team.
Gold for my town.
Well, I don't know about necessarily biggest threat, but they let me become the biggest threat by not forcing out enough detection. And that's one thing, guys. When I'm playing support, if there's a Ricky or anyone with permanent invis, you have to have that detection, or it's just going to be the same song and dance over and over again. Now, there's a fight happening mid. Keep in mind that knowing that we are seeing a bunch of fighting happening mid, I'm once again pushing the bottom tower. Hopefully this time we can try to go for racks. They seem pretty invested in getting this middle tower. Defending would be a good job, but at the same time, I know we've only lost one tower. I know that I can always come back if I need to help defend the tier 2. Our team seems to be handling it pretty reasonably, so I wasn't too concerned. I know I checked in a couple of times to see how it was going. We did lose Ursa, but he had died a couple of times. He was kind of running a squishy build this time, especially running the Mask Madness. Once again, I'm pretty sure that's probably what cost him there. The ballsiness is paying off mid as we see 3 heroes go down with only an Ursa to show for it. Delicious should, well,
Radiant's
it's going to be a
bottom
risky one.
barracks
He
are
just
under
needs to wait
attack.
for Battle Hunger. Alright, there we go.
Radiant structures are
And he makes
fortified.
it. That is really well played on his part. As you can see, I've made it through the tower by myself. I'm currently solo killing Axe, and then I'm going to go back to work on the tower. Razor shows up. I do know that he's got some damage behind him, and he's actually been getting decent items. So I'm not
Radiant's
gonna
middle tower is
toe to
under
toe him by
attack.
myself, but I am gonna try to last hit a couple of these creeps on my way out. Witch Doctor makes it in time. He still has 1 dust. Given that this tower is gone, I would have immediately dropped a sentry ward there so that you can keep an eye on your barracks, given that I've been pushing it every opportunity I've had. And
Radiant's
as we can
bottom
see,
barracks are
I'm
under
already still
attack.
waiting bottom to jump right back in. My team lures a mid. I come right back in. Lycan's the only one here, and he had been playing kind of scared at that point. I was able to walk him right off, but then the Razor comes back in. Given that they are down 2 heroes mid, they are having trouble keeping my team from doing what they want on that tower. Let's go check in to see what the health on that is like. Tombstone slowed the progress a little bit.
Wish fulfilled.
Razor's got decent items. Lycan, I honestly believe Lycan started off with just the recommended item build and then realized that he had nothing to take advantage. Well, I mean, usually the Vlad's is good because it helps your wolves out. I guess he could be getting it just for the team aura. I don't know that these are the only 3 items I would have given this build. I probably would have gone mana regen first to take advantage of the stun more often. And your flash farming ability. Marana,
Bold and sweet.
doing good. She now also has a dust because she has realized that it's crippling them not having it. Didn't Axe also have... Alright, so we do have 2 drums. Those do not stack, guys. if you're going to buy an aura item like the Drum of Endurance, always check to make sure one of your teammates doesn't have it. So Axe, instead of getting something that would have helped him take advantage of his attack speed, he now has what's effectively a useless drum if he's near Mirana. As you can see, I finally get my first rack with Perseverance, just sticking around and constantly harassing the living crap out of the towers. Now I'm backing off that I've been dusted. I'm going to go ahead and let that dust fade, and then come right back to the same harassing that they've been letting me get away with the entire game. Witch Doctor, you can tell he's going for an Eggs. He got a little bit of health regen here. Not a bad build. Here you can see Razor talking crap on the Witch Doctor for not first picking permanent invis, which at the time this video was made is kind of a bad decision, but at the same time, Death Ward is a really good teamfight ability, and I'm not going to hold... I personally, while I disagree with the decision of not taking permanent invis first, I also know how easily permanent invis can be countered with wards, so I also would not hold it against him for choosing Death Ward instead of the risky invis. Last but no, that's everybody. So as you can see, once again, right back here, taking out the barracks once again. Razor comes up to stop me, eats an arrow. Axe is AFK, probably typing to somebody. Probably typing to the Razor who was just talking crap about him. I'm not gonna lie, Axe was a little cocky, and he did play kind of poorly, especially with his item build. At the same time, however, guys, though, this attitude right here is what makes people not even care. I have seen games come back from double raxing. I've seen one game that I was in come back from mega creeps. Now, it was really lucky we had an overly farm nature's prophet who went in and soloed the base by himself once we won a team fight on the defense. However, if you guys play smart, it's not necessarily impossible to come back from, especially right now, they've only lost one set of racks. Now, they did lose it because they weren't paying attention and they let the permanent invis guy walk in there over and over and over and over again without doing anything about it. However, they can still come back from this at this point. They've got good team fight. They're starting to buy detection. Some of them have decent item builds. They're just not playing to their strengths, is what I honestly believe happened here. As you can see, our team has 0 wards. I don't know if we've had any wards the whole game. I've been kind of a mobile ward walking around invisible. They don't have any wards either, so it kind of works out on that. Witch Doctor had some wards early and apparently decided to give up on that when he went for the eggs, which, I mean, given his greedy teammates and the fact that he has the best teamfight ability here, I don't know that I necessarily blame him for that, but at the same time, knowing where we were a lot more often would have definitely helped them prevent what's happening right now. As you can see, I have my heart done. I'm going to go ahead and go for a basher because the only thing that I'm missing now is a way to lock people down and keep them close to me so I can take advantage of my feral impulse and my my heavy damage. Especially with the damage amp from my ult, which is about to come back up. All in all, as you can see, it was a little bit back and forth in the beginning, and then slowly, I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction. I wasn't watching the whole time, but I think it's fair to say we got ahead early on. They rallied once, had a good team fight, we came back, and then they all started pointing fingers. I know the Razor started pointing fingers, and that probably, I mean, that's probably why Axe fed at least one free kill here, AFK, trying to talk back to him. They've lost 2 sets of racks now. They're just really, I mean, they're all rallying here to defend the last 2 towers, but I don't feel like they're doing it for the right reasons. I feel like they're probably still arguing in the chat. I can't stress this enough, guys. I make mistakes. I know other players make mistakes, and if somebody makes 1 or 2 mistakes, you can't rip into them because the best players will give up on your team and stop helping if you call them terrible over and over again for no reason. Now, that's not always the case. There are some people who are legitimately feeding or making poor decisions, but there's a right way and a wrong way to go about that. And the right way is to say, hey, your positioning is really getting you killed a lot. It's costing our team. You might do better if you pay a little bit more attention to where you're standing. Whereas what you normally hear is, stop feeding, you noob, go back to LOL, God hates you, whatever else they can think of. It gets pretty awful sometimes. So just really, guys, just try to stay positive, and if you're having a bad game, try to figure out with your team what you can do to fix that. Because it's not impossible. If you're losing that badly, either you were horribly outdrafted or somebody is making some mistakes. Probably everybody, to be honest with you, because people do that. And here we have, with the Razor once again talking crap on Axe. Now, he did feed a lot, and he did not do great. And the reason for that is he did not play to his strengths. All he built was a ton of gauntlets and a drum, and he spent a ton of time in the jungle doing it. He's finally turned one of the gauntlets into a bracer. If I were him,
Radiant's middle tower is under
I can't
attack.
pull up the items right now, but if I were him, ooh, whoa, what's going on there? With this build, I would have done definitely.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Instead of the Drum of Endurance, I might have taken
Radiant structures
maybe a Helm of the Dom, which will give you damage, armor, and you can lifesteal off of that fast attack speed you have. I might have also taken.
Radiant's ancient is
Let's see. He doesn't really have. I mean, the call is a good way to start the fight, but he doesn't. I mean, the blink strike. Well, he's got the chase. I guess he doesn't really need a Sange. Maybe a. Given that we had a lot of damaging physical attacks, probably a halberd. A halberd would have actually been really great on Axe. Not only would he have evaded some attacks, but combining with that, with the Helm of the Dominator I suggested, he would have actually done really, really good in man-fighting people. But, as you can see, bad decisions and probably some infighting cost them the game. And that was a fun one, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope I was able to say something of use to you guys. And if you liked, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a good one, everybody.